oldest guest that we've had, not oldest in terms of age, but oldest in terms of, I think he may be the longest running guest that we've ever had, Steve J.J. Weisman, the scam rat, who originally wrote the book, The Truth About Avoiding Scams, and along with Identity Theft Alert and about 13 other books, a college law professor at Bentley University in Boston area, and also teaching or learning scams from prisons. I'm careful to say that you're not teaching scams in prison, Steve.
No,
He actually autographed his book, I Am a Nigerian Prince. That's crazy. Oh my God.
That letter scam, which I think was the first scam I ever saw online, and it was called the Nigerian letter scam, is what it was called, and it was about a princess in Nigeria who lost her husband or lost her father and had a fortune that she could get out of Nigeria if only you could pay the carriage fees on the wire transfer, which is roughly $5,000. And I will tell you, they had a phone room, they had email things, and people back and forth were trying to get this poor princess out of Nigeria. Pretty sure they don't have a princess in Nigeria, number one. Number two, wire transfer fees are about $35. And that's been going back for about 30 years, which is kind of a rip off to the bank. Banks should be charging more than that. But in any case, that garnered almost a whole industry, don't you think, Steve? I mean, I know you may remember earlier than that, but I think that's the first one I can remember.
Yeah, that was one of the big ones. You know, the funny thing is that Nigerian email scam, they didn't even invent that. It was a scam called the Spanish prisoner.
Right.
And this was just updated with technology. And that's the difference. The technology has gotten so much easier. And, you know, we joke about Nigerian scammers, but Nigerian scammers are incredibly organized. And they've attacked the United States in a number of different ways. And they also do it with romance scams. They've applied for unemployment compensation. I'll tell you a funny thing about the Nigerian email scam is it's still going on, and if you see the versions that are out there now,
it's crazy.
They're absurd.
You know, you mentioned the Spanish Prisoner, which is actually it was the original name of the scam. It's a great movie with Steve Martin, and it's not a comedy, but it's called The Spanish Prisoner, and it was about 1991 or so. It still holds. It still
Never
holds.
heard of it.
It's a really interesting movie about that. What's interesting is I love to see this. There's a couple of guys, and you see them online, that have figured out a way to hack into these scammers' phone
it's the
rooms.
best.
Oh, yeah.
And they identify their names and their real addresses while they're on the phone, and because those guys get pretty bossy on the phone rooms, where
Yes,
you know, don't talk back to me. Send your money now you can't, or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, hey, let's talk about the latest here. You can go to scamicide.com. Scamicide.com is scam of the day that you see that Steve put together, and of course, every single day I read that just to see what's coming up. And I just noticed the government shutdown scams. I haven't seen one, but what?
This is probably ripe for the scams.
Yeah.
Right?
What are they doing, Steve?
Yeah, you know, anytime there is something going on in the news, the scammers are going to take advantage of it, particularly when people are nervous and your brains are going to make you react quickly. So people are getting and have been getting emails and text messages that appear to be coming from the Social Security Administration, the IRS, or any kind of benefit programs that someone may be in line for. And it's telling them that they need to re-up, they need to provide further information, they need to click on this link in order not to lose their benefits. And of course, if you click on these links or provide the personal information, you end up either downloading malware that can steal your banking information from your phone or your computer, or getting information that leads to your identity theft. You know, unfortunately, it's come to, trust me, you can't trust anyone. So whenever you get an email, a phone call, or a text message that asks for personal information or to click on a link, regardless of how legit it seems, you've got to go to the source and confirm it. So, you know, you would go to the Social Security Administration, you would go to whatever source you were dealing with and find out if it's legit. And of course, it isn't.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Stephen J.J. Weisman, scamicide.com is the website. We all know the answer to this, but I want to hear it from the scamicide man's mouth. How much is AI changing this game?
As you can imagine, it is a total game changer, and it's a double-edged sword. This is something I testified before the Senate about, and at the moment, I think the scammers are ahead in their use of it. But it is being used to identify and recognize scams. But unfortunately now, like for instance, romance scams where someone falls in love with you immediately and then suddenly they need some money.
Hey, do you know what I call that?
What?
Never.
I was going to say Tuesday.
You thought
But
it was
you'd never be
Tuesday.
able to-
You thought it
you'd
was
never be
Tuesday,
able
didn't
to-
you?
Yeah.
You'd never be able to see them. Now, and speaking of Nigeria, there's a group called the Yahoo Boys, and they do these romance scams en masse, but they do them with deep fake AI technology. So their voices have no accent. They look exactly like who they're pretending to be, and it makes that scam just so much easier to perpetrate. Same thing with the family emergency scam or the grandparent scam where they get a call in the middle of the night. Now it is the voice of that grandchild.
I'm just going to tell you, if
scary.
you want some easy money, if you were to ever get a hold of my mom with a voice, she would
Yeah.
send you money today.
Yeah.
Regardless of all the admonitions I've given her and everything else, she would send you money today. Steve, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
Identity Theft Alert is the book. Stephen J.J. Weisman. Scamicide.com. Get there. Save yourself some pain and save yourself some money. All right, speaking of pain and money, there's lots more to come with the Big B Show.
Oh, look, I just got offered a job. I'm going to take it.